Outstanding. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me just fire up our presentation here and we'll get right underway. So this is our volume photography little webinar using flow software from Technicare. Excited about presenting to you this morning, and thanks very much for your time. I'm hoping to make it definitely worth your while, especially considering the time change and everything. So Tim, for the most part, we did one of these a few weeks back, so everyone will be more or less muted. If you have any questions, please just either raise your hand or type it in, and then Tim can unmute you to ask a question. I like that. I enjoy having interaction as we go through it. So just let it all fire up here. Apparently I put some big photos in my slideshow, which has made PowerPoint hungry on my computer. So there we go, volume photography using flow. Okay. And all right, so just a rundown of what we're going to talk about today. We're going to do a quick introduction. We're going to talk about why volume photography, like what's in it for you, why should you consider this, the different genres of work within volume photography, flow software, which is the linchpin of it all, which actually makes doing this stuff easy and, of course, profitable, how to make cool custom products, stuff that clients go gaga over and makes you lots of money and makes you look like a cool photographer, and then, you know, the total integration. There's also a back-end web section on this, so that all sort of makes sense and comes together. So this is me. I've been a photographer for a number of years. I've done all kinds of work. Well, number of years meaning 15, probably more precisely. I've moved to Vancouver Island about 5 years ago. Prior to that, I was in Hinton and then in the Banff Canmore area. So I sort of, in my career, have done a full range from, you know, celebrity type stuff at the Banff Springs Hotel, a lot of corporate work, portraits and weddings. I did a ton of weddings in a Banff. I have a number of clients, again, corporate. We did all kinds of different stuff, like menswear type thing. And anyways, as I moved out to Campbell River here, I was sort of looking at my skill set as a photographer. I've been a photographer for 10 years, and I'm like, you know, how can I use my skill set? I'm just close to turning 40 to, A, work for my family, give me some time, and have some money at the end of the day. And so I sort of took all these skills that I had, and it was around that time I got a flyer similar to the ones that you guys have got that was talking about, you know, school photography. And the primary thing about it was time and money. And I was like, well, that's interesting to me. So I did that, and that was about 4 years ago now. And so moving forward and through all this stuff, I'm now predominantly focused on the volume photography as a genre of work that I offer from my studio. I actually dropped portraits this year, which I was excited about because, again, I can allow myself to continue focusing on what I enjoy the most, again, and what profits me the most. So, you know, if I'm not sure about you guys, just when we were doing the intro there, you know, I know some of you do the portraits and the weddings and the children's, and if you love that stuff, that's great. I can show you how this can seamlessly integrate into that so you can get more clients to do that as well. Or if you find that the, you know, process of doing portraits and weddings and the kids and all that stuff is great, but it's always on the evenings and the weekends and stuff, then this might be interesting to you as well. So why volume photography? Well, I've touched on it already, solid profit. There's money to be made and good, solid, hard cash. One of the things I like about it is we usually get paid up front. So you go do the job and you walk home at the end of the day with cash in your pocket. And that's a really good thing. A lot of the times in portraits for me, I'm maybe not the greatest salesperson in the world, so you've got to sit and then you've got to talk about it and then you've got to fuss around and I've got to order and then you've got to retouch, and you know, it seems to take forever to finally get it done. So the solid profit, so again, just reading this out, when utilizing flow software, photographers can bring awesome product to market and generate a solid profit. The introduction of flow software has opened up what was previously an untapped market. So that's good. No, I'm not going to change. I'm going to keep the current color scheme. Hopefully I can roll through this. Time, believe it or not, you have more time. When the job is done, it's done. And then we can move on and do other fun stuff. and the flow software and the volume photography, we actually get to use all of those skills. By my introduction, the reason I showed you guys that is to give you a sense that I am a real photographer. And I've chosen the volume model and a couple of other solid, long-term, excellent photographers that I know are also doing the same thing. And it's because we can utilize those skills, integrate it with what we already do, and then have a solid business model that goes with it. There's a number of different genres within the volume photography. There's the elementary school type stuff, which you're looking on your screen right now. The average elementary school, around 300 kids. Average packages purchased is about 25 bucks. Our cost on that's about 6 or 7, so start doing the math. You shoot that in a day, you process it in less than a day, and you back them up one after the other. We like schools. A quick example of one of my school brochures. Sorry, I'm going to go back on that one. Again, this is all created in Flow. So you do the artwork and the layout in InDesign or Photoshop, and then it's customized layouts that Flow can give us, which is super cool. The grad stuff is a huge part of the high school type volume photography. It's a 15-minute session. Average packages bought are around $225. And again, so 15 minutes back to back to back to back for like 3 or 4 days, averaging sort of $225 a shoot. Start doing the math. It starts to make sense real quick. And of course, I'll show you a grad photography. This is one of the proof sessions, again, auto-generated in Flow. So this is my pricing, and this is how it all is laid out. So once I do this shoot, I basically save 12 images. And what's just scrolled through on the screen now is simply laid out for you in Flow. You have to press a button once, you order it in bulk, and it's done. So the actual process, once set up, of ordering and fulfilling this kind of market is really seamless and really fast. And of course, with the volume stuff, I'm sure most of you thought about is with the sports as well. So there's, look, I've got my old, let me just take that out again there. So we've got hockey kids, soccer, dance, and that can do quite well with regard to sports. That's probably what I do the most of right now as I continue to grow the school. Within the sports, we have a number of different products. We've got the memory mates, magazine covers, trader cards, magnets, the enlargements, and the novelty product. There's a bunch of stuff like hockey pucks and mugs and all kinds of stuff available through Technicare, which again make a really cool post-sale thing with the web integration. And of course, the brand new collage posters, which really rock. I'm going to show you an example of one of those in a second. Sort of whipping right through this. This is my portrait price list. These are some of the samples. Again, these are the memory mates, the trader cards. And again, we use a nice high-key backdrop, solid photography in order to bring product to market. And again, people fall all over this stuff. When you use solid photography combined with great graphics, I find that, especially compared often in this genre of work of what people are used to, they literally fall over themselves, and it is not difficult to generate solid business. This is fantastic. I love this one. They just fall over themselves. Okay, so we're going to show you how to create projects, the parameters, the price sheets. We're going to generate client barcode tickets. Basically, I'm going to walk you through what volume photography looks like from the back end so you can get a real sense of what's involved. Again, I do welcome feedback along the way so that I can answer your questions. I actually prefer it. I like an interactive experience when we're doing these kinds of things. This is the post-sales web stuff, which we'll talk about. That same grad photo that gets loaded up online, it looks fantastic. So I'm just going to now escape out of here because apparently I created a reasonably large PowerPoint, which sucks a reasonable amount of power from me. So now we're happy and all is good. We're going to open Flow, and then we're going to walk you through some things. So I pretty much ripped right through that in about 10 minutes. So I'll just ask Tim to just open it up to any questions before I jump into Flow and move into what that actually looks like. Anyone have any questions before I begin actually doing the nuts and bolts of this?
So far, nobody's asked any questions, but if you want to type in your little type-in box there any questions, I'll certainly pass them on to Lee for you guys.
Okay.
Nothing, no questions as yet, though, Lee.
You can just slide right in. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to... Any questions? Actually, what I will ask, just before I jump into this, again, I didn't want that PowerPoint to do anything funny with me, so I moved through that pretty quick. One of the things that I wanted to just mention as well in talking about this is the seamless integration with your brand. Again, I had people that saying they photograph children and they do portraits. So, you know, one of the ways I love to think about this stuff is, you know, where are the target markets for that? Where do you find clients to do portraits? Well, all of their kids go to schools. So if you happen to be photographing schools or doing the sports, it's such a wonderful opportunity to cross-promote. You can advertise your portrait services to all the people that you're doing sports photography for. So if you're in a certain area or a certain town and you pick up the volume side of the market, well, guess what? You can use, and again, through Technicare, we can use the back end to put inserts into everything that goes out to everyone, telling them about your portrait services. And so those kinds of options become available as a volume photographer if you want to continue offering, you know, different genres of services. You know, as I've got my teeth into this, I find that it's simply not necessary, because the amount of money and enjoyment I get about flawless execution and delivering and bringing great product to market, you know, is where I tend to stay, and then I like to spend the rest of the time is enjoy the money and enjoy my family. And so I tend not to book on the weekends and the evenings with portraits, but it was certainly, when I was beginning this, a huge thing moving forward. I'm real proud of this product. This product here is something that, again, is literally a click of a button. You set the original artwork, you come up with the concept, and it is just the click of a button. I'm going to jump into Flow right now to just show you what that looks like. And then we're going to go through and actually open up the product. If I open up this project here, let me just get a sense here. Let's do. Okay, there we go, and oh, there we go. We're going to update the catalog. All right, so beginning, and again, just giving you a bit of a sense, you guys, and walking you through what some of this stuff might look like. We can shoot in green screen, we can do cutouts, we can do all kinds of fun stuff. This is a green screen sample. And again, with the layouts created in Flow, and show myself a preview here, and then boom. So there's a straight green screen shot. Say you've photographed 100 kids. This is a poster that's automatically created. To be clear, this is not a pre-done. This will go on every single kid that you photograph with a green background, or for that matter, any other product that you create. Generally, to do something like this in Photoshop, as I'm sure you're all well aware, takes a considerable amount of time. And the idea of bringing them all in individually and messing around with it, to me, is something I'm not interested in at all. However, if you can import these one after the other and just simply, you know, bang them off. And again, this kind of product, this is a pretty solid product. You know, you can sell a 16 by 20 of this, $70. And again, it requires nothing on the artwork side once the initial system is set up. And so that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go talk about how to set up the system and how to do this. Okay, so we're going to minimize this, minimize this. We're going to begin with opening XL. This is where it all starts. So if we photograph in volume, whether it's a school, whether it's a hockey job, no matter what it is, we do need to get beforehand a list of the players. So this is a little sample set here. So we've got a number of kids. This is their first name. This is their last name. That was the year 2004. This was their sponsor. This is obviously the team name and then the tournament name. So these are part of the information that makes it all make sense. So right now I've had these prep for a little presentation today. They might give you the name. Sometimes you have to edit the Excel spreadsheet a little in order to get it right and ready for import so we can bring it into Flow. So what I'm going to do is save this. I like to save them as a CSV. That tends to be the easiest one for Flow to accept. That's the one there. And we're going to save this as actually into desktop and then into Technicare. So we're going to save that like that. That'll be fine. Yes, there we go. And thankfully, I'm not sure if you guys are like me, but that's about as much Excel as I can handle. Excel is nice because it organizes my work in my photo side of things, but I'm not a huge numbers fan, so I'm much happier being back in a photo project. Okay, so this is the entry screen. This is where we create our projects. So if we have a school, you can see some of my ones here. These are different schools, different grads, different projects. So if we want to create a new project, we simply scroll down on the left-hand side. Actually, let me even back it up a little bit further before I do that. As you can see here, similar to maybe even Lightroom, you've got these tabs up the top. You've got your project, the capture, the edit, the layout, the catalog, and the reports. So consider these modules pretty much similar to Lightroom that take you to different parts of what we do here. In order to begin, we have to create something. So we're going to create a new project. Okay, so my studio is Island Life Photographics, and I'm going to use the sports template. I'm going to create a new organization. That's going to be Test Technicare Flow. I'm going to make a nice long one. It does require the address, so I'm going to put in something fictitious just for the moment, so we're not spending too much time. And G7W1J8. Okay, so we're going to enter that. We're going to add that organization in there. This particular project is called Webinar Test. Webinar Test. Oh, just got webinar on. Okay. We do have to choose a catalog. In this case, it's going to be the soccer program. And then we're going to import data on the create. This is where we're going to get that data that we just used on the Excel spreadsheet. So away we go. It's going to think about that. Now it's asking us, okay, where's that data file? So we're going to wander over here. We usually have them in this place, but today I've got them in the Technicare list that I just saved it, which is here. And I don't think the first row in this case is like that. So remember the Excel spreadsheet that we had a few moments ago. I saved it as a CSV. I just selected it up here as the source document. And now I've got to tell Flow what's what. So F1 here, that's the kid's name, that's the first name. So first name. F2, last name. F3 is the year. F4 is the sponsor. I think the sponsor for me, I did coach. F5 is the division. F6 is the sport for me. I call that one sport. Okay. And import. So there we go. So now we have the interior screen of Flow. So this is where we import and get information and put it in. Now, we still haven't shot the job yet. This is pre-job. So we're also setting up Flow and figuring out how we're going to get ready for the job. So what we do next is cruise on over into reports. I'm just going to move this little webinar box around as we go. Okay, so again, I'm just sort of walking you through the basic way that we do this. So I've got subject, order, barcodes. That's what I want there, and a 10-up layout. Thank you very much. I like to show the team name in here, and I also like to show team name primarily, tree view report. So what we're doing now is we're making the flow of sports easy. we're creating a set of barcodes which we print out on our regular laser office printers. We cut them up, and these are what we give to each kid. So I'm going to cruise on out. I'm going to photograph, a soccer association. The soccer association has given me the names beforehand. I come along and I create these barcode tickets. I organize them into teams so that once, grey team under 5s roll up, I have a preset list of all the kids' names on that team. Each one of these kids gets one of these barcode tickets, which they hand to me as I'm shooting. As I'm shooting, I take one of these tickets that they give to me, I put it on my spike, kid goes, stands on the spot, I take the photograph, and then I say, done, next. Next you give me a ticket, put it on the spike, and away we go. So that way we end up shooting a job. If it's something like soccer where we change kids the jerseys change every 10 or 15 kids, then it's pretty fine. Every 10 or 15 or maybe 20, I'll write the film bar number from the back of my camera onto this just to double check. It's like a safety net just in case I mess it up. But after we've printed these, we're pretty much ready to go shoot. So I'm just going to grab a few files. We're going to cruise on back to our Technicare folder here. Now we have a film bar soccer here. So here's the soccer guy. So we've gone out, shot our job. Here it is. And we're going to import that. We create a folder on the C drive called a hot folder, and we point flow towards that. That basically becomes our film bar. So the photos have come out of the camera. We put them into our hot folder. We go on back into flow, and we go back into the capture plane here. Now, we're at kid number 1, which is Christian Granter. That's the information. We already know who this child is. And again, if I take this barcode ticket off my spike, I scan it on the barcode reader that's attached to my computer, automatically Christian's name comes up. If I know his first, then boom, I attach Christian to my barcode ticket and he's in there. In this case, we also have something else which we want to add to it as well, which is our group photo. The group photo belongs down here. Now we behave with these a little bit differently. They come and belong in the group photos tab down below. We want to label this. These guys are, just click it in there. These guys are U7 brown. Bam. So that's them. So I can add now the group photo and the individual. So I have the individual and the group for this little guy. I take the barcode off the spike for the next one that I have beside me after I've shot them. Oh, it's Riley kills Patrick. Nice, Riley. Thank you very much. There's Riley. There's the group. And then again, we continue like this. Now there's multiple ways to do this as well. There's filters that we can apply, where Flow just brings up the team at a time, so you can apply the team to every child, and then you don't have to press 2 buttons, you only have to press 1. But again, we can just populate the screen like that. So again, each time I would do that, we don't have a brown there, so we're going to go in, let's see, there's the red. Actually, we do have a brown there. Let me back it up, I beg your pardon. And then we're coming in here. And again, each time with these, we would be scanning a barcode, adding a child. There's this little fellow here, Jordan, scanning a barcode. Evan comes up. There we go. Nice. Add the group photo. And again, into the red team now. We got our little girl coming up. We need to add the group photo. This one is U7 red. Add the barcode. U7 red. Again, Braden Penn. Now one more. I'm going to round out our guys. So, we've taken our pictures. We've loaded them onto the C drive. And we've imported them into Flow. Now this particular job, when I was setting it up, I attached to it my sports price list. And here's the sports price list right here, which is great. And the beautiful thing about this, and it is beautiful at this point, is that if I want to order a memory mate for this guy, all I do is press memory mate. If I come back and I look at the order form for this guy, Nicholas Lapierre, and I want to order trader cards, an 8x10 print, and a memory mate. Guys, that's it. I'm going to show you what that actually means. So let's take, oh yeah, sure, let's take this fella. Let's cruise on over into our layout tab so you can actually see the other half of what we're doing. Remember we had that fire one up earlier? We're actually going to load the soccer, which is what we're working on right now. So let's cruise down here. Now these are ones that I've created, remember. So this is ones that I put in because this is how I like to do it with my style. Everyone has their own. So soccer old memory mate. Oh, and by the way, this particular template you can buy. So you don't have to be an absolute guru on the graphic end of things. You can buy these templates, and I bought this one not that long ago. So here is the soccer template ready to go. So this kid's name, association name, date, it all just pops right in there. And again, it's this particular one. I'm just going to widen. Oh, you know what it is? Actually, let's switch to a different boy. I didn't import this in the right crop. Sorry, guys. But, anyways, they populate perfectly like that, which is super cool. You can also load up the magazine cover. There's my magazine there. Soccer old magazine. Bring that up a little bit bigger for you. Again, so bam, straight in there, looking awesome. And again, you can custom create these graphics. These particular graphics I got from a company called Graphic Authority. I'll give you a resource list that'll be sent out at the end of the webinar in order to, so you can take a look at this stuff yourself. So I bought, this text, I modified it myself to customize it, to get it where I needed it to be, and then away we go. So again, once you set this up in Flow and you cruise on back here, all you need to do to place an order is to add my value pack 1, which was part of my pricing, includes a soccer memory mate and an old trader card, done. If I want to add 5x7 print, an 8x10, done. The magazine cover, done. So the artwork required to put all this stuff together you've created beforehand, and so once you do this, you can see how in volume it really starts to make sense because you use similar types of graphics just with different overlays for each of the different sports. And then again, you can really start to run through these. And again, those numbers that I mentioned earlier, soccer, a solid day of shooting soccer, $2.5 grand. You'll out of that you'll make $1,800. So they're very, very real figures. And again, once you have the system set up, you can fly through this stuff. Again, let's take a look at this one. Again, load the different layout back to soccer. And you can see I've got all kinds of stuff in here. Some of these ones Technicare is given for us. Other ones I've added in there as my own. And so again, there's the soccer in like that. So we're looking real great. So we've just hit 10:30, Tim. I've got a couple of different ways I can go. I can show you how and where we can create some of these custom templates, or I thought if people wanted to talk about how to shoot this, we could talk about that. So again, I'll make it a bit interactive. So if anyone, again, I've covered a ton of stuff in a pretty short time here. So are we still in awestruck silence, or did anyone want to have any questions about anything?
Well, so far I don't. So there has been a few questions. One was regarding the background that you use, but I think you covered that with the Graphic Authority. And somebody wants to know if you shoot your posters, if your posters are shot on green screen or not. So maybe take the backgrounds and, do the backgrounds maybe for them, a Graphic Authority, and I'm going to put myself back on mute.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, totally, guys. The backgrounds is a huge deal, and how to do it, and it's ever evolving. There's traditional backgrounds. This is one of my hockey backgrounds, which I've done a lot. Let me just snap into focus there. So what I've done is I've photographed the rink. In photographing the rink, I then actually had it output onto a 6x8 Freedom cloth from a company called Denny Manufacturing in the US. This tends to work really well for hockey in the sense that you don't have to be on the ice. So that's their home ice. We always put the home team with the bigger number. So home ice advantage, but you can shoot it in a mezzanine or somewhere else for the little kids. They're not standing on the skates. They can stand in their shoes. I like to cut these off just below the knees, tends to work for me. And so again, we can move these through really quickly. So there's two methods of backgrounds. Typically for me, I often like to print the backgrounds because I like the quality and the ease of doing that. However, with, again, that sample that I showed you earlier, I'm starting to become a bit of a convert to the green screen because the quality of it is silly good, better than I expected. Again, I'm pretty pedantic about quality. Quality has to be pretty darn close to perfect for me, and I'm actually just transitioning over to green screen because it gives me more flexibility. I can start to layer up those options. So the backgrounds, you can have them done traditionally where you print them if you don't feel like dealing with green screen, and that's by a company called Denny Manufacturing, and again, that'll be on that resources page that I send you. So that's one example. So again, photograph whatever it is, and I do this a lot. This is a school. This is a school background of a local river for me. So I photographed this location. I had it printed on a background. I have one of those automatic backgrounds that go up and down. So that's way number one, backgrounds traditional. So you can do that. Here's another example of the school stuff. Again, so these are like, I don't know, 6x8, $150. And you can put this chalkboard and stuff like that. So Denny Manufacturing, they're great for that. But let me just jump into panoramic samples. But then there's this kind of deal where you're knocking out the background. And so this becomes a green screen product. And so with regard to this comes down to your artwork choices. You can have flow implemented all and layered all on top of each other once you've made those choices. So this is just solid, good green screen shooting, and then flow actually will knock it out for you, and then you can just drop this straight into flow and then have this kind of look. Again, this is a solid product to me. I actually offer these with the panoramics. Let's jump back to some of the panoramics again. That's this kind of stuff. If I'm shooting these guys as a team and then individually against green screen, which is the only way to really do this to cut them out, then I also have a backup sales technique where I sell them the individual photo like this. A lot of this all depends on your market and your product mix. We're all different. If you're in one of the major centers, often the photos are included. Every team gets a memory mate as part of their registration with the association. In that case, you're competing with photographers that are selling that thing for like $2 and $3 in volume and are looking to make their money off the other sales. So if you're competing with that kind of thing, then maybe you want to come in with a product like this. I like to keep this separate and keep it only associated with my panoramic product. And I often sell this kind at tournaments. But again, we're all different. My goal here is to show you, what's capable. This and this with a click of a button. Again, that's just the structure created within Flow. So this is, I've created this background in Photoshop, this layered glow thing, the numbers, the thing, all the rest of this. This all comes into Flow. And while I'm here, I'm going to whip over into sales collateral type stuff. So imagine that you just got that collage. I've just printed 10 for the team at $40 each. Everyone's pretty pumped. Out with each one of those collages comes this. Again, once I've got that individual kid against a knockout background, Flow will automatically generate this for me. So thank you very much, blah, blah, blah. If you want to take a look, you can order extra posters of little Johnny. You go to my web address, you click on these links, and you enter this code, and then you can buy more stuff. And so I kind of like to leave it as an add-on thing, but certainly, obviously, we each make up our own mixes and our own ways of doing it. So these two particular backgrounds here are digital versions. I mean, from the portrait side of things, I've got like, chalky and frosty things and all kinds of different backgrounds. So this comes down to your creativity. If you don't have the creativity, go to Graphic Authority. It's crazy what they've got. That thing with the iceberg comes from there. And so they make you look like heroes without spending too much time. Again, on the note of background, sorry, I'll just jump while I'm in here. We can also use those to print for us all kinds of other stuff. And so I'm a huge fan of putting little sales packets into my packages. And again, I'm not sure if I was clear with you. Technicare packages all this stuff for you. So literally, once you're all the way back here in the flow, once you've hit memory mate, it's done. This thing will come back, ordered in, packed in its own team, packed in its own thing. So you just take the box that Technicare gives you and you shove it onto the association and you move on to the next one. This is where it starts to get fun because the whole thing is fast and efficient. So if you've got those barcodes printed, you go shoot those guys. Again, if it's soccer, it's outside. If you're shooting a green screen job, I have a swimming coming up next week. I'll be doing it all green screen, dropping them against a background of a fancy-looking swimming pool, and then boom, once that product's all set up, you just walk through, magazine cover, memory mate, trader cards, whatever those products that you like, and then the whole job comes back pre-packaged, ready to deliver. In the past, I started this long enough ago, I used to have a lab. I used to have to cut out each negative and stick them on a frigging cardboard thing and then send them in. It was insane, where this makes it fun. It really does. And then you start to enjoy yourself and you start to, put that money in your bank, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, this is all right. And if you have genres of photography that you really love, then you can do that, or you can charge what you're not relying on that, so you can really play with it. So backgrounds, yeah, I think that covers it. Again, keep firing little questions to Tim. I'm happy to be bumped in on by Tim as we move along, and then I might show you how we'll download and create some of that product to prep it for flow, if that answered everyone's questions enough. So I'll give you just a little second here, Tim, to see if anyone is ready to move along or if we're moving along.
Sorry, Lee. Yeah, no, there's been no questions since the last question, so yeah, just proceed along.
Okay, awed silence. Love it, guys. All right, let's do that. So, downloaded templates. So I'll use this one because it's simply being just downloaded. So this is, let's open this guy up. Fire up Photoshop and open up one of our prints. So again, they come in zip files. If we jump back over here while Photoshop is opening, these are all the prints like that. So let's take a look here and see what we can see. Okay, so this is a memory mate. So this is how it came to us from the company as a sample. So this is a layered Photoshop document. I'm assuming you all know your way somewhat around Photoshop. So what we do to get ready for this, because all of these fields auto-populate, all we really need to do is remember where they are, and we let Flow do that for us. We just have to create the template for Flow to drop images into. Now Flow does it one or two ways. It can take your images and basically put it behind something like this, or it can put it on top. In this case, since we have these fancy jagged edges here, we're going to have to put the photo behind in order for us to be able to see it. So we're going to create what's called a PNG file and make it transparent in here so there's a hole for our photographs. So I am going to remove our text nodes for the moment. Look at that one there. Actually, that's not bad, that socket, but in my mind, that's a little close to the edge. If we put these in a frame, we're going to cut that S off. So we're going to make that socket a little bit smaller like that. I'm actually going to up the opacity a bit. I know it's kind of cool like that, but for my taste, I can't see it. And again, this is raw, the straight downloaded file. Let's go find that other text, the barracudas we're going to get rid of. Okay, so then we're going to move in here. Actually, you know what, guys? I'm going to get rid of the text. And this is in real time. This one's not like the cooking show where it's all ready. This is how it would, and this is the nuts and bolts of prepping this stuff to get it ready. Okay, so I want to click on this. That's created a click of the black thing. I'll take the black thing off and go down here, and we're going to make a hole there. We're going to make a hole there. And we're just going to come up again and basically clean out what's in here. There's various ways of doing this, but for now that one works for me. So I've got a nice clean cutout that I'm happy with. We're going to do the same thing here. Come down, and then we're going to go cut, 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 and cut. And after we take off that, Oh, we missed one. There. Okay, so I'm going to throw those out. I'm going to merge visible. And now, as you can see, guys, we've created a transparency. These are holes right through. So in order to save it and not have it go white, which is what would happen if we saved a JPEG, we're going to save it as a PNG. Photoshop save. Where's my PNG? There it is. And I'm going to leave it here. You can see these are some other ones. We're going to call this Technicare sample webinar. PNG downloaded templates, old school to use save. Okay, so that's my Photoshop end of this. Now we're going to cruise on back into Flow. Cruise on into our layout tool. This is where all the fun stuff happens. This is the one from before, so we're going to create a new one. It has nothing to do with that. Okay, so again, up here, so new. The first thing we're going to do is add in our graphic so we know what we're doing. In this case, we saved it on the desktop. We saved it in Technicare. We saved it in downloaded templates, old school, to use. Where's the one we just did? Technicare sample webinar. There we go. Okay, so we're going to click on it. Turn it into an 8 by 10. Then we're going to shift it over there. So this is our base. It looks fuzzy. We can turn it off and re-render it. Then it'll be fine. Now we've got to add these placeholders for where our other stuff goes. So this is to insert a photo. There's one that we seem to use for all of the Technicare ones, which I like. It's this one here. So that creates a little photo there. We're going to click on it. I think for now we can just go for open 5 tab and we'll put this in behind. 5 is a little big, maybe 4.8 will be a little closer. Maybe 4.7 would be a little closer. Okay, and we want that to come behind. Okay, so we just kind of like InDesign, if you've ever used that, you just go pop there and now this bangs in behind. So we do want to be somewhat cognizant of exactly how this is placed. So I would take my time, go back into Photoshop and get the exact size in here so that it's perfect. And that way when cropped well, it all just seamlessly comes together. I can add in another placeholder. This one's going to be for our group. So we're going to get our little head in here, which is great. I'm going to click on him, and we're going to change this one. I don't know, 7 by 5, in like that. We're going to swing this guy down here, and make that a little bit bigger, maybe an 8. Put that in there like that. Okay, and we're also going to push that one to the back. So we've got this photo is behind what we did, and this photo is behind what we did. So if I come on in here and click this, we're actually going to tell it to use a subject image. There's our little boy. If I click on the other one, we're going to tell it not to use a subject image, but to use a group image. Group photo. Great. So now I've just got to change the parameters of those a little bit. We're going to change this to 5.5, or maybe even 6. And again, I'll actually take my time. We can talk about cropping a bit more later, but there's our group photo in there. So that's good at this point. Now, I can't quite remember what our text looked like. So let's go back over here. Let's go back over here, and then go to the very beginning. Okay, so league name, date, kid name, team name. Okay, fine. So back into Flow, let's start with league name. Actually, before I do that, I want to know what kind of font that is. Let's see, that is You Are Loved. All right. So back into Flow, we're going to now create a text line. That's up here. It's hidden. It's hard to see, but we're going to make it easier to see in just a moment. I'm going to take that out. And we're going to add it to a sports. So in here, in the text, we can insert the data field. Remember in our Excel spreadsheet, we had data in all of those different things? Well, now we're putting them to use. I'm going to center justify this. I'm going to change the color, I think, to white. I might take the opacity down a little bit. We've got auto size font to make it bigger, and that font was You Are Loved, wasn't it? So it's kind of a nice sounding font. You Are Loved, boom. So there we go, like that. Again, I have a poor memory, so let's just go see what it is. It was black with a white glow. Okay, so actually white's no good. We'll change it back to black. Thank you. And then we'll do a white glow. So let's maybe just do a bit of a stroke will work for us. Let's see what 2 does. There we go. So that's all good, except it looks a bit small for my liking. So let's make it a little bit bigger. So that's simply expanding the size of the box. So we can do that simply by grabbing it and pulling it this way, if that works for you. Or you can simply do it by also typing in the names in the box. So there's our, in my part of the world, Campbell River Youth Soccer Association. So that's what that stands for. Now I remember there was a red one in there. Again, let's whip back into Photoshop. That was the red underneath. So let's get a red in there. Same deal, cruise on over here, insert text box, it pops up in here, I select it, I'm just going to drag it down there, I'm going to center justify, I'm going to insert a data field. There was a data field that said the year that we're photographing it in, 2014, we're going to turn that to red, then we're going to stroke. 1. I don't think we want a white stroke this time, so we're going to keep it up there. Press OK there, and again, auto size font is kind of cool. This changes it up all the time. I love that button. You are loved, and then boom, we're starting to get close in here. I do want to change that thickness of the stroke a little bit. Let's change that to 3. There we go. And again, like the other one, I think we're going to make this one a little bit bigger, so she sits in like that. So we had 2 other things. We had the child's name and the team name. So same deal, text box. You should be getting familiar with this now. It pops up there. That's where it always lands, so it's easy to find. We're going to come in here. Again, I can't quite remember, so I'm going to go back here. So Jacob Meyer, centered, justified, right under the box. Okay, fine. So again, I'm going to center justify. We're going to change the text. We're going to insert the data field. So this boy's first name first, space, last name second. Oh, first name, first name. Let's do that again. First name first, space, last name. Thank you very much. Okay, and again, we're going to expand the size of this. I'm going to bring that probably to about there. We like those parameters. We like it center justified under the image. I still got the wrong font, so we're going to move in now and change the font. It's not going to be Arial. It's going to be the You Are Loved one. And again, I think I want to add a stroke to this one as well. And we're starting to get close. So we're going to add one more text node, which is the team name. So the text node is here. Same deal. It always arrives up there, so we're going to select it. We're going to grab it. I'm going to drag it down here. I'm starting to remember now that this one was where this goes. We can make it there. This one I might do right justified, just my design choice. Again, the black text is working okay, but let's change this. I'm going to put team name in there. So there's the team name. What was it team name? Maybe it was... division. There we go. And to finish it off, we're going to make that text change again. So this is just the nuts and the bolts, guys. You're hopefully getting a sense of this now. Again, we're going to auto size that to make it a bit bigger. We're going to add a stroke thickness to make it in there like that. And again, design choice, you could center justify this. This auto size here means that it will shrink this text. So if this happens to be a super long one, it'll shrink it down so that it all fits. So now we have just created a MemoryMate template for soccer that's good to go. So now we're going to go and save this thing. I'm going to save it as Technicare web sample. And so we do this with each of our different products. We do it with the magazine covers, we do it with the trader cards, we do it with all of the things that we have. And once set up correctly, and again, Tim is here to help you if you need some extra assistance in finishing this up. Once this is done and it's formatted correctly, then all you need to do at the order time is attach that kit, connecting to the barcode, and then just simply place an order for what you want. Again, I'll repeat that. So once we have, again, we've photographed the job, we scan a barcode, attach the child in the group photo. Now all we need to do is press whatever he ordered. And if any of you are wondering why I've got this other stuff down here, ceramic mug, puzzles, aluminum bottles, coasters, the iPhone cases, they love the iPhone cases. This is all really cool stuff, but I actually don't give them the option of buying this at the time of sale. We give them the option of buying this later in the web. And the web button is simply a button up, where are we? Here, we'll press this button, it'll take us to our online order. We can upload this order online, and again, depending on how you send out your sales material or how you want to manage your sales material, you can do it from there. So move that across there. For myself, I like to send out this, which goes into that soccer thing. It tells them where to go. It tells them how to get in there. And then after the fact, so they got their memory mate, they got their trader cards, they paid their $40. That was 2 or 3 weeks ago. So now they go home and they can log online and then they can buy these water bottle things and the mugs and all that kind of stuff. Me, I don't love that stuff. I like my photography, but I love that it just becomes incremental revenue coming into my bank account that I don't have to deal with. This stuff is direct shipped to the client, so I don't touch it. I don't do anything. It's simply another way to increase your sales and to generate extra money from the great photos that you've taken. And so I really like, again, the sort of complete package to me makes so much sense. So that's giving us about 5 or so minutes, again, to bump into that question stuff. If not, we're sort of getting close to a wrap. So Tim, I'll see if anyone else, again, even on the photography side, guys, if you're wondering about that, go ahead.
Does anyone have any further questions for Lee? I see none. This is a very quiet group, Lee.
Yes, it is. Okay. Again, how's everyone feeling? I can, again, show the online integration, or again, with the quietness, I'll let them decide where we want to go. Do we want to spend a bit more time here or do another graphic, or are we pretty close to wrapping her up?
Well, we have only 5 minutes left, but perhaps if you have the upload to image quicks, if you could quickly just show them how quickly it is to upload all these galleries to image quicks, that might be cool.
Absolutely. So it's literally this simple, guys. So you press that little button. That belongs on all of the screens, the layout, the capture, and the edit screen. You have to, again, set this up with your information. It remembers, Flow remembers, because all that information at the beginning of the project that we entered in, it all populates. Again, this stuff populates information everywhere. That's why it's so good. You don't have to redo work anywhere. So this is what my gallery name is going to be called. It might be Campbell River Youth Soccer, so that when someone goes there, they can find the Youth Soccer is the one that they're looking for. You can choose to put a password in or not. Either way, they're going to have that other flow-generated access code in order to get there anyway. So usually I don't put this. They can have a welcome message. You can have an image attached. So if you want to put maybe the soccer logo of the company that you just photographed, can go in here. You can watermark across things to protect your work, and then you can tell them, you know, what your order preferences are. You know, ships direct to customer. It costs $7.50. And again, I kind of like that option because I don't want them coming to the studio. Again, maybe you do. But for me, I like it to go out direct to them so I don't have to deal with the bits and pieces. That just becomes something that's handled. So again, the whole concept of this stuff, you know, from a photographer's standpoint, it goes like this. Book the job, prep the product, shoot the job, order, wash your hands of it. If you've set it up so that all you do is press the button, it'll submit gallery. All I have to do to upload online that thing was go submit gallery, done. With my pricing, everything else just flows on right on up there. I add that little sales sheet that I showed you before, and the whole thing is done. So if someone orders the mug, I don't have to deal with it at all. I just get money for it. It gets shipped directly to them. So I, again, shoot, get my money for the job, put the money in the bank, put the images into Flow, place the order. Again, Technicare packages these things. They package them in individual packages, then it goes into the team package, then it goes into the whole project package. And so again, a big box comes back, it's got all this stuff in it. If you want to add the folders, if that's your thing, you can totally do that. And again, don't forget, guys, you can also use, if I'm selling the mugs and stuff, if you don't want to sell mugs and think that stuff's not much fun, then sell your portrait photography. The month of spring is the springtime with ABC Portrait Photography. Come on in and have that. So you can use that as a marketing opportunity to correct directly to the market that buys the most amount of photos in people photography that I'm aware of. So that gives you a bit of a sense of flow, hopefully. Hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of where we're at. Again, if you want to hang out and ask questions, that's fine. Otherwise, I think we're coming up close to 11 o'clock, and hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of what we're all about. So, thank you
there have been
time, everyone.
Lee, there have been a couple of questions come in about exporting files and how they're uploaded. I'm just going to clarify that. The products Lee was designing are on his computer. The fonts are in his computer. Flow actually renders those files on your computer, and if you wanted to, yes, you could render a JPEG. Lee also showed that in the when you're placing new orders, a little shopping cart icon, that Flow will actually build these products and send them directly to the lab, and we will produce them, sort them, and package them as he mentioned. The second way to place orders is from ImageQuicks. And if you're familiar with ImageQuicks, normally you would be uploading full-size images to ImageQuicks, and then the product would be placed. The ImageQuicks would send the orders either directly to the lab or directly back to you. With Flow, it's slightly different, where thumbnails go from Flow up to ImageQuick, so it's very quick to create. Everybody needs a unique gallery now to be legal, so so he's how many kids? He's got 12 kids here. This would create 12 unique galleries in ImageQuicks. The number that was on that barcode, by the way, is the same number that's used for their online order code. So you actually know what their online order code is going to be, and he's going to show it to you right there. That'll be the online order code when they actually go to order. So you can actually tell them if you're planning on only selling online, that's their online order code. But to clarify, the ordering system... I wouldn't
recommend only selling online in sports. You want
definitely not. Yeah. But the point being is that the orders actually don't go, they go from IQ back into Flow. So it's up to you after IQ orders are placed. You'll get the email saying that, your customer's just placed an order. It's up to you to go back into Flow. Maybe you can show those screens, Lee. If you pop into IQ and go to the gallery settings, go to all online galleries. So this is showing what Lee has already posted online. And at some point, you'd want to check for all online orders now. And what it's doing now is Flow's going out to ImageQuick's web server. And if you had new orders, in the new column, you would see how many new orders were for those particular projects. And there would be another button light up that would say Get Orders. And that would bring those orders back into Flow. It's very handy if you're trying to batch work together, so it all is going to go back to the association at one time. Or right now, grad season's on there, so a lot of times people will want to make sure the images are retouched that they've ordered before they go back to grad. So again, that's something they would want to bring the orders back in and not send them directly to Technicare. Having said that, if you want to set it up so they go directly to Technicare, basically what Lee showed you before, where you just get new orders, and then you would just go into the, submit new orders, and 2 mouse clicks, and you've just placed all the orders. Any more questions, folks? That looks like about it, Lee. So at this point, I'd like to thank you. Oh, just a minute. Okay, there have been a few more questions that have come in. Does Technicare have someone in stores that can help set up a computer and gives hands-on feel to Flow? The answer is no. Basically, Tim Ryan and myself, Tim Horkoff, can set you up. We use a program called TeamViewer, and we're able to log into your computer, and we will, every single Flow setup we've done to this point, we will definitely log into your computer and set it up for you and train you how to use it, do a trial run, do a sample layout for you if you need an ID card done or something like that. Certainly we will be able to help you, and we're only a phone call away.
And they really are. It's one of the wonderful things about...
Having said that, we've ran a little bit late, so our apologies. We wanted to be done by 11 o'clock. I see it's 11:03 now. Lee, thank you very much for sharing. Most appreciated. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, or just call 800 number at Technicare and ask for Tim, and more than happy to help you. Lee, do you have anything else you want to conclude with?
I'd just like to thank everyone for their time. I hope that